Are the poles loaded? I cannot see any poles right now.
Maybe not.
Yeah. So somebody will do that, or we do the rehearsal without the poles this time?
Yeah. So in the first shift, just do without the poles. In second shift, we'll try to make it out.
Okay, भैया.
Pandit, I had made you make a host and the needful. Whoever comes to attendee, just pull them to the panel.
Okay.
जी मनीलाल जी, you are panelist now.
Join.
Prashant dear,
Webinar now.
जी
we can check if all are available, then we can start at the right time.
okay. So now it is 11:25. So 11:30, no?
Yes, भैया.
जी, thank you.
I think Raghvendra Dubey is yet to join. Otherwise, everybody is here.
He just joined and again he left. Joined.
Yeah, nice.
नमस्ते सभी को.
Namaste, भैया. Welcome.
जी राघवेंद्र जी.
Namaste, Ravi.
I think he joined now.
Yeah.
You can share the slide and check whether it is the right slide.
जी भैया, Raghvendra भैया, you can share the slides and see. We have 4 more minutes. Your video is there is a lot of space above your head, Raghvendra Dubey भैया. And up to your mouth is.
भैया, you are getting my voice. सभी को नमस्ते.
Yeah. Namaste. Your voice is audible, but you can adjust your video. Now it is good. Wonderful.
Yeah, it is okay now. Yeah. Manisha Didi's video.
Bhaiya, I need to ask one question. As per the last discussion yesterday we had, that after presentation we need to remove the slide and we need to keep only videos.
जी भैया.
Yeah. So I need to stop the sharing after the presentation.
No. After the introduction of the panelists.
Okay.
Yeah. I will introduce the panelists. So once I introduce the last panelist today is in the sequence Jagdish Babu Bhaiya. So once I introduce Jagdish Babu Bhaiya, I can stop sharing.
Okay. So should I start the sharing?
Yeah, you can start sharing now. 3 more minutes. You can see if it is the right slide.
Slide visible, भैया?
Visible, visible. You can just scroll on, just move on.
Okay.
Yeah, just move on. Just move all the slides. Yeah, I think this is the right one. Correct. Very good. Yes, Bhaiya. You can start. Go to the start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shall I start or wait for?
Okay, just 2 more minutes. We will start in time. Just exactly on time, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
See, Ami Parapaya, we will start.
Yeah. Good morning and welcome to the 9th International Conference on Human Values in Higher Education 2024. Theme of the conference is Value-Based Education for Human Society. Now, today is our UHV point of view presenter is Dr. Raghavendra Dubey. I have privilege to introduce him. Dr. Raghavendra Dubey is PhD Pharmaceutical Science. He is a head of Institute IPS in SAGE University, Indore. He is a convener.
Yes,
and
some echo is there.
Value and Ethics Development Cell. So with this, I warmly welcome Dr. Dubey, and over to you, Dr. Dubey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the welcome. So today I will going to present the first panel discussion on need for holistic value-based education. So when we talk about the need of human values, we felt that a lot of efforts have been made globally for making an effort to incorporate the value education in a core. If you see our Constitution of India, it is already specified to include a justice, liberty, equity, and fraternity. And with this aim, every committee of education framing policy, they have agreed on incorporating the universal human values as a core part, in the education. From 1882 to till date 2020, the education policy is trying to incorporate the value education as a main part. If you will see the National Education Policy 2020, it aims the holistic development of student. So it aims developing a full human potential for creating an equitable and just society. So with this aim, various regulatory agencies has taken a responsibility to incorporate. The University Grant Commission has incorporated human values and professional ethics as a Mulya Prabha 2.02 in various educational institute in higher education. The same effort has been made by All India Council of Technical Education, has incorporated universal human values as a 3-credit course. Not only that, All India Council for Technical Education has also conducted various faculty development programs, various workshops, student induction programs, and the management development program to incorporate to incorporate the universal human values in a curriculum. And when the values are in core, then only it is possible that we can able to fulfill the sustainable development goal which is specified by UN for incorporating as a quality education or maybe as a sustainable development. So education has a responsibility to incorporate the value education values in the students. If we will see the the education has responsibility to facilitate two important things. That is what to do and how to do. Understanding what to do means what is valuable as a human being. And learning how to do is a skill and technology. So lot of research work and lot of application developments are doing in the field of skill and technology. But until and unless we do not know what is valuable to human being, it won't be serve the society. So both are important for human beings. But if we will see the priority between both, so it can be easily observed that the understanding what to do, the valuable part is more important rather than how to do and the skill technical parts. If we will see the present education system, the present education system is biased more toward the skill education, and the value education is being a very little part in the education system. So most of the part of skill education addresses toward the needs of the body. And if you will see, the human is a coexistence of self and body, and there need to be addressed both. So when we talk about addressing the need of the body in current education system, the right understanding is not in the focus, and the capacity to live in relationship with other human being is also not in the focus. The core focus is on accumulating more and more and consuming more and more. So when we talk about uh, consuming more and more, then it will lead to the society which is having a depletion in the resources that will cause a pollution, and that is a real example among us. And when we target more toward the accumulation, it will result in the society, and it will result in the developing a society in such a way that accumulation by any mean is in the priority. So the current education, rather on emphasizing on producing what is required and what is utilized in the right way, is emphasizing mainly on the addressing the need of body and accumulating more and consuming more. So there is a need of solution-centric approach and holistic approach, and holistic value-based education is required, which should address both the need of self as well as the need of the body. So there is a need of right understanding in every child. The education aims to build the right understanding in every child and should build the capacity to live in relationship with the other human beings. It should also emphasize on capacity to identify the need of physical facilities, so that it can try the skills and practice for sustainable production of war more than what is required, and simultaneously try for right utilization of physical facilities, which will lead to the feeling of prosperity within the self, within the family and extended family and the society. If this type of value education is incorporated, the capacity of living with the other human being can be ensured, so that the feeling and the utilization of the physical facility should be in the right place, so that the skill which is acquired in the education can be rightly utilized for the sustainable development. And we can easily nurture the our nature also. We can see with the quality of air, water, soil, and things which are in the right current state. We need values to be incorporated, so that the feeling and belonging and the relationship with the other humans and with the nature should be established. Once we tried for the value education, we need to set some basic guideline for the value education. So what should be the basic guideline? The values should be universal. It means it should be applicable to all the human beings which are present on the planet at true or at all time and all places. It should not be limited to any sect, creed, or nationality, race, or gender. Simultaneously, it should be rational, It means it should be having a logical reasoning. It should not be based on some do and don'ts or a blind beliefs. It can be questionable at every moment. It should be verifiable. It means the content of value education should be bring in the form of proposal, and one can explore on its own right. And once explore on own right, it can explore its natural acceptance. And once it explored the natural acceptance, it can verify with its living. So it should not be on simply believe, just it should be because it is stated in the course. It should come in the living. So it should be verificable while it will come in the living part. And when we come to the living part, the next will be the leading to the harmony. The values will will enable to live in the peace and harmony with oneself and with the others in the family and the extended family and with the rest of the nature. So as a sum up, we can observe that values are prior over the skill education, although skill education is equally important. But when we see the priority is observed, the valuable, which is what is valuable, should be utilized by the humans. And the present approach is, we will see the present approach, we can see that the present approach is skilled bias. So there is a need of solution-centric approach which should develop, which should ensure the right understanding in every child, the capacity to live in relationship with other human beings, and capacity to identify the need of physical facilities. And with that, we can acquire the skill and practice for sustainable production of more than what is required and the right utilization of physical facilities. This will lead to the prosperity, a feeling of prosperity in the family. And for that, we need to set some basic guideline for value education that should be universal, rational, verifiable, and leading to the harmony. With this, I would like to invite today's moderator, Dr. Sunil Kumar N. He is BTech, MTech, and PhD from ISC Bangalore in Civil Engineering and presently working as Professor and HOD in Division of Civil Engineering at Cochin University College of Engineering, Kuttanand. He is associated with the UHV from June 2020. So I would like to welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rakhavendra Dubey, for that nice presentation of UHV point of view and introducing me. Thank you. Let me welcome all the panelists for today's panel discussion. Rakhavendra, if you can go to the next slide. Yeah, thank you. So I welcome Mr. Amareshas Patil. Amareshas Patil is an associate professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, PDI College of Engineering, Kalaburgi, Karnataka. He is BE and ME in Structural Engineering. He is a coordinator of UHBSL in his institution. Can we go back? Can we go back? Yeah. So Mr. Amareshas Patil, he is a coordinator of UHBSL in his institution and also the regional coordinator for Southwestern region. Welcome, Mr. Amareshas Patil, to the discussion. Now we welcome the next panelist, Dr. Prashant B. Degavane. Dr. Prashant is a professor and dean of infrastructure, Department of Civil Engineering, Government of College of Engineering, Nagpur, and he is a UHB volunteer along with his spouse, Dr. Jyoti, and completed UHB 3 also at IIT Kanpur. Welcome, Dr. Prashant, to the discussion.
Gee, thank you.
Yeah. I also welcome Ms. Nithi Chasde. Ms. Nithi Chasde, she is a Master of Computer Science Engineering from Savitribai Phule Pune University. She is a faculty at Shivajirao S. John Thale College of Engineering, Dombivli, Maharashtra. And she has been involved with UHB activities since July 2020. Welcome, Ms. Nithi Chasde, to the discussion. I also welcome Dr. Jagadish Babu Bellam. He is an assistant professor and UHBSL coordinator, Department of Physics, Madarapalli Institute of Technology and Science, Annamaya District, Andhra Pradesh. He is connected to the University of Human Values content since June 2021. Welcome, Dr. Jagadish Babu Bellam, to this panel discussion. Yeah, so nice that Rakhavendra Dubey has presented the UHB point of view, and he has presented that there is a need for value education, essentially. And the need, what he emphasized upon is essentially this role of education. Now, in this present scenario, the education is lacking right understanding and right feeling to be ensured in the individual. Rather, what the focus is largely upon the production of physical facilities and the use of physical facilities. But the right utilization of physical facility itself is missing. And he also proposed regarding the guidelines of value education. And finally, he emphasized upon that there is a need which is felt by many individuals as well as institutions for this value education. Now we can start this panel discussion with our first panelist. I start with Mr. Amarishas Patil. So I would like to ask this question in the context of the sharing by Dr. Rakhavendra Dubey, and we have also listened to the keynote lecture today morning. So in that line, I would like to ask Mr. Amarishas Patil, what holds a higher priority in education according to you? Value education or skill education? And you can share your view on the priority on value education if it is so. Over to you, Amarish.
Thanks, Dr. Sunil sir, for giving me the opportunity to express my thought regarding the need of the value education. Before I got exposed to this content, I was only trying to look for the skills that can be imbibed with myself and with the students. But once when I was brought to the content of this universal human values, now I was able to see very clearly that if I felt I am not able to understand what to do part and only trying to know the how to do part, I may not be fulfilling my living. That's what was my observation. And most of the time I used to feel that the fulfillment part is never going to happen because I was always in the struggle. So as per the proposals that I heard from the values, that is universal human values content, I was able to see the basic aspiration itself. I didn't have the clarity, and it might be the same for all the young minds also. If at all in my education setup, if you not emphasize what is my basic aspiration for my living part, then I may put a lot of my struggle in only accumulation of the material, which may not be sufficing my living part, might not be helpful for my basic aspiration of being happy in continuity. Might be I can feel now and then this happiness related to some excitement, but that continuity will never be happening because I was not ever brought to the proposal of I am coexistence of body and the self. So once when this content of universal human values is brought to me, I was able to see very clearly that the content should also go to the next generation. So the values are on a priority for me than the skills, and both are required definitely for the living. I cannot neglect the skills also, but once when I have that clarity of what to do part, then I can always prepare myself to do how to do part, because it is my priority. Then I try to get into that. So this is my understanding and what I am able to see in the present scenario, that the values should be given the first priority. Thanks for the opportunity once again.
Thank you, Mr. Amarishas Patil, for that sharing. And you can see that values have to be given the first priority. But however, in the current scenario, you could see that the skills have been given the priority. So there is a change, which is essential. That's what you can see. Yeah. So in this line, we can move to the next panelist and ask the same question. Dr. Prashant B. Degabane, I would like to ask you the same question. What is your take on this priority between value education and skill education? What is your take on this?
Well, thank you, Dr. Sunil, for the nice question, and which is very much useful in the current scenario also. So in current scenario, whatever is seen, as we are the teachers, and particularly I'm talking about myself, being in the education for the last 36 years, whatever with the focus of we today are doing, it is on the second part, that is the skill education. All the technologies, all the you can say the procedures or the experiments or the laboratory or even theory teaching, these are all related to the how to do it. But as far as the what to do is part, it is remaining from this curriculum. So I think that there is a urgent need to have the focus on the first part, that is what to do part, and that should be with the value-based education. If value-based education is given to the student, so he will start learning at this stage only. So when with these values, when he will enter the field, of course, both the things are required. He will be having the skills from the our current syllabus or the older syllabus also. And if we incorporate the values in the syllabus right now and starts giving education through this value-based system, so that student will be equipped with both the things, with the value-based education and the skills. So finally, he will enter into the field as an engineer or whatever it be, entrepreneur or the teacher. He will have this set of these values with him, and with that values he can have, he will be having the right understanding with that values, and all focus of his will be changed. Instead of considering prosperity as accumulating more and more, he will try to understand the whatever is required, and in that view he will serve the society in the converting the society into the human nature. So I hope the as far as your question, priority is to be given to what? So in my view, priority is to be given to the value-based education, and this value-based education must be started as early as possible, because since we are teaching this at this higher education level, it will be very much easy if it is been started from the earlier also. Of course, we all are trying to that, and it will be a greater venture if the students are given the priority with the value-based education along with the skill education. So that's all from my side. I think this is enough for the time being. So thank you. Thanks a lot. G.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Prashant, for that view.
G.
That you can see that value guidance is required. That is essential. And as far as possible, we can offer this value education.
Yeah.
Because the students are lacking this right understanding in them. So to ensure this right understanding, to apply the skills rightly, we
Yeah.
need value education. That's what you emphasize upon.
G.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So we move ahead with the same discussion. So I request Ms. Niti Sasde, welcome for the first time to this panel discussion. What is your take on the priority between value and skill education? I can see that you have been offering this value education to many students in more than one institution. That's what I learned. So what do you think? How do you see the priority between value and skill education? What's your take on this?
Thank you, Dr. Sunil. And good morning to all the panelists and delegates. I take this opportunity to share the experiences which I have gone through. I remember this workshop which we were conducting for the first year students. And one of the student on the last day, 6 days we were conducting it. And on the last day, the student was mentioning that when we started with this whole thing, I was very skeptical about what we are going to do in this value education course. But now I'm very clear about how I'm going to go ahead in my life and what is the purpose of it. So with this experience, I would like to highlight that once an individual gets this clarity that right understanding and relationships are important, are a priority for a human being, then working on physical facility becomes very easier, and for that now skills are required. So when this priority is set for an individual by themselves with this process of exploration, it becomes easier for them to decide on each step what to do as a human being and what not to do as a human being. So now I could see that this difference after having this course in the curriculum, that earlier we had to instruct students on doing so many things and not doing so many other things. But slowly and gradually, they are able to see for them what is right and for them what will be creating an impact if they are going otherwise. So with this experience, I am for clearly placing value education as the first priority, and of course skill education is complementary to it. So with these two parts we can go ahead. Thank you so much.
Yes, that is nice, Ms. Nidhi. So you said that skill education is complementary. It's a very, very valid point, I think. Because when we say that value education is to be the first priority, then where does you place skill education? So you said that it is complementary, and you have given this with an example. That will be helping many of us. Example of one of the students who could not see the importance of value in the beginning, but then once he is into value education, he could see that the priority, what is the, as you said, the purpose of life. That's what you said, that he could see, and the priority he could fix up. That's very nice. Thank you. So we move on to the next panelist. So now let me invite Dr. Jagdish Babu Bellam and ask him an additional question along with this, that the priority is also there in question. Along with that, you can also suggest through your experience on this offering value education. How do we implement, how do we impart this value education, particularly with regard to the need of value education? There are two questions for you. One is the priority between value and skill education, and then what is your experience in imparting the value education, particularly with regard to the need part? Yeah, over to you.
So thank you, Dr. Sunil, and good morning to all the panelists and all the delegates present over here. So I will agree with the other panelists regarding the values holds the highest priority. If we see the things around us nowadays, most of the cyber crimes are happening, and these people has rich in skills, and these skills can be used for a right purpose. So the purpose is not clear. So what to do part with the skills is missing. So this is leading to many issues in the society. So if every student undergoes this value education and clear with what to do part, then this how to do part will be complementary to reach to that, and also it will be more fulfilling for everyone, for the individual and also for every human being. So value guided skill based education is essential, and it is need of the hour also. And when we see to the next point, that how we can make this more explorative, we can bring this content instead of do's and don'ts, as we discussed in the guidelines. It should be verifiable, and it should be verifiable by each one, and then it should be naturally acceptable. So then it will be more what we see in our experience. These do's and don'ts, keeping rules and regulations, is working only for temporary. So when we keep this as self-exploration, verifiable by each one, then this can be more effective, and this course can they can take in their it's a lifelong learning. So this type of courses is to be delivered as a self-verification proposals, not like do's and don'ts or any statements. So this is my take on this, and it is very nice to see that all are looking forward to this type of courses, and this should be widely spread to all the all the groups of society. So I strongly agree that we'll be moving towards this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jagdish Babu. So nice that from your own experience, you can see that this offer of this value education should not be prescription like do's and don'ts, as you mentioned. So we can have this explorative way of explaining as well as trying to understand. So you said verifiable, and that should be naturally accessible to them. All these words you used. Yeah, that is very nice. That you can also see that the priority is upon to be upon value education, and the skills are when you have the priority upon this what to do, as you said, the how to do parts will also be clear. That's what you mentioned. Very nice. So we will proceed with this discussion to the other panelists also. Yeah, Mr. Amiresh Patil, I come back to you with the same question which I asked to Dr. Jagdish Babu, that we say that this is the value education is now holding a key, that is having a priority. That is what you said at the beginning.
Yes.
And when we say that, are you also offering this value education at your institution? Are you offering it in a like any other subjects, or are you offering it like explorative? What is your experimentation upon this offering value education?
See, once when I was able to connect that this is what is helping me for my own living, and when I thought that this is one course which is going to come as a mandatory course from the university which has prescribed, because our institution is an autonomous institution where VTU guidelines are the one which are holding its implications, how to go about with the board of studies, how where the subjects come and all that. So this has been put up as a 1 credit course right now at the 4 semester level that is being brought up. And once when I was able to see this, this is going to, but a lot of faculties earlier, they already have gone into these courses, but there was no much progress that was I was able to see before I was brought to this content. So what I did is I started to start with then sell with the institution and trying to, what do you say, get together, that is a reunion of the members of who have gone in with these proposals, like understanding the proposals, revisiting the proposals once in fortnight. That was the first priority, and then we just try to understand how the subject is being brought to the students, how it is being put up as a proposal rather than stating it. Initially, even I had a lot of difficulties that what I mean by proposal, but when I'm getting connected in continuity or on priority list, that this is one is which is helping me, then I was able to see that how that content part has to be delivered to the students, because only when I involve it is then the participation comes naturally. Otherwise it will be just like do's and don'ts, and the students will never ever get connected. So that is what was my own exploration, and trying to connect to the faculty of different branches, because it is taught by all branch faculties and helping each other. But there is less of response, but I know it will take its own time because everyone has its own priority. But the base has been set in the institution. We are all trying to help each other in this journey of understanding. And once when the students are brought to these proposals, and when they feel that okay, this is what is their own priority, then definitely the young minds are there and they will definitely hold themselves for this content. So that is what I am able to say, and I have this clarity that will help with the faculty and the students in this institution. Thank you once again for the question.
Yeah, that's very welcoming, I would say, with regard to this value education. So your point of view is that initially you saw that it is a bit difficult to offer this value education, but then when you are very clear about the content and you are involved in the content, then it is easy for you to offer this to the students. That's what you see, and you also see to help the other faculty members in this line, because others may not be able to see that. So you are helping in your institution. Yeah, that's a very good point to take on. Now I continue the discussion to the next panelist. So we have Dr. Prashant. Dr. Prashant, I hope you also are offering this value education in your institution. So from your experiments with value education, are you also able to see what Ms. Nidhi was telling and what Mr. Amaresh was telling, or you have a different experience in offering value education?
Yeah, very nice question, and the experience also. So with my experience, what I can see, firstly, I am with both Nidhi ji and this Amrish. So whatever they have told, it is very clear that. But one thing is which is very important for me, what I have found, unless and until myself gone through this UHV understanding. First, Miss, initially when my teaching was there, so it was without knowing the UHV point of view, so there was some difference. Now with this need of this UHV, what I understood, so the students are also like me, and they also want to do same thing which I want to do. So automatically in my teaching, for example, the theory and practical. So as far as the credits are concerned, it has been introduced at the university level by adjusting some credits of some subjects. No doubt it is there. But as far as practical point of view, whatever I have started from last 2-3 years, I started giving them small minor projects with respect to universal human value, just as or the application of the value. Number one is the solid waste management of my campus own for the civil engineering students. Then secondly, the urban green space analysis of the campus, that too with the plantation. So what happened with these all practical things, they enjoyed the learning also, and at the same time they got knowledge of the UHU point of view also, how it is beneficial to the society, how what is the effect of this on the environment. So all these theoretical concepts which were not in the form of do's and don'ts, but they verified it. They have used this as a proposal, and from this all their working, whatever the result, they were encouraging, and the students will follow these policies or whatever the learning throughout their life. So in my view, as well as along with the theory, if the practical things are also given to them, in which point of view, it is the need of an hour. Definitely, I am with the priority of the value education, and along with these two earlier speakers also. G. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sunil.
Yeah, that is very heartening to listen to you, because you have been doing a lot of activities, like you said, the projects, the urban green project and the solid waste management. Yeah, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
So with this, you could able to help your students to see how these values can be practiced. That is the point which you said.
G.
Very nice. Let us also listen to other panelists. What is their take on this? So I would move on to the next panelist.
Thank you.
Ms. Nithi Sachdev. One of the things which Dr. Prashant was telling was regarding this credits. Initially, he said that the credits, he had to squeeze out some credits for this value education, because in the university level may not be, or the college level it was not there. Now, there is a question regarding this, as far as I am concerned. Now, this universities are saying that these credits are very much for the technical education program, particularly when skills are being offered. A lot of credits are being offered to many of the courses. What do you think? So then when we introduce this value education as a separate course in any curriculum, would you think that some credits are required, or can we do it without credits? What's your take on this?
I see it clearly that to begin with, this credit system is very much essential. And there is this provision also available as proposed by AICT, that +3 credits extra have been added. Now, what is the purpose of it that I'm able to see is, as a student, initially they might be reluctant to opt for this course or listen to it or attend the classes. But once it is made a credit course, then they are with it. And then once they start exploring the course, then probably they will see the importance of it. And then they will see that this credit system which has been assigned is being helpful for them to go ahead with the clarity part. So I am okay to start with this course as a credit course to begin with. And then I also see it clearly that it is very much essential to begin with this one course as a credit course, and then gradually we add all other technical courses also which are value based. So this kind of possibility I see starting with one credit course. Ji. Thank you so much.
Okay, so what you said is a credit system is required for value education, right? So we propose this as something which is not like do's and don'ts, verifiable kind of things. But even then, you require this credit system. But you said another point that is very clear to me, that when you offer other skill-based courses, you can have this value guidance upon the skills. So the meaning to this credits will be very evident upon at that time. Yeah. So with this, we move on to the next panelist. Let me ask Dr. Jagdish Babu. So I will continue with this question, Dr. Jagdish. So it is being said that the universities have this number of credits in educational program, right? That is very high. So 160 or 180, like that. Even in the MTech also, they have a lot of credits. So the number of credits are very high. So if we assign credits to the courses, kindly share your views upon how can we balance the number of credits to courses on human values. Are you also, you could have listened to Miss Nithi, so she has certain view upon that. What is your view upon this? Yeah, over to you.
Yeah. So, in my personal experience, when I see this course, I have thought this course as mandatory course, and I see the students are not paying more attention. And in the next year, followed to that, it has made it as 3 credit mandatory course. Now I can see that slowly the students are paying attention to the topic and starting self-exploration, coming to personally to ask, clarify, and they open up with their own concerns. So when we see the importance of this, then we can always allocate credits for this. There is always a provision to incorporate as a credit course. And when also when you see that the skills also necessary, and they have to have the skills to get a job. So in 4 years of a undergraduate program, we are making the students job ready. We also has to give this course so that the students are uh, ready for life. So that's why the importance of this course is very important. As one course we can introduce to balance the credits, one course we can introduce as the credit course, and the higher level UHV courses and the follow-up courses can kept in electives. Um, and the ACT, when you see this ACT curriculum, they also encouraging these minor degree programs in UHV, in other skill courses also. And when you take a minor degree in UHV, the student, when this course is introduced in early semesters, not too late, then in higher level semesters, the students can go through this open electives. Then if they get essential credits or required credits, they also get minor degree in UHV. So when we see the importance and the uh, need of hour for this type of courses, there is always a provision alternative to balance the credits in the curriculum. So that's what I see as a personal experience also, and the ACT are also taking a huge step to incorporate this value education into the um undergraduate students. So that's my point of view here. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Jagadish, you mentioned that in the initially you can offer a value education program with credits, and that is to ensure that the students are paying attention to this program. Later, when you offer the in the higher semesters, like the elective courses of value education, there you are trying to say that the credits are not required. Is that what you mean?
When the student is opting for minor degree, their credits are required. So that is required for issuing the degree. But once he is in one course as a credit course, he sees the importance. Then even if the credits are not there, also he will take as an open elective. But as a minor degree program, we should introduce these courses as credit courses.
Okay, I got the point. So when he sees the importance, then even if the credits are not there or if the credits are less, he'll be ready to take that because he can see that it is required for his life. That is the point. Yeah, nice. So we move ahead to the third round of this discussion. I will move to Mr. Emeritus Patil once again. So I have a different question for you. Now we have been discussing regarding this value education to be offered in the higher education right now. But what do you think? Do we have to start this value education at the higher education, or do we need to start this from the primary education and leave this higher education only for skills? What do you think?
Yeah. So the discussion have really started at the right time, I believe, when we were able to see that the society is getting divided and we are not able to see that humaneness in that living part. And we were all concerned. And then there are a lot of thought process which have gone in and a lot of discussion went in. And lot of experiments were done, I believe. And then finally, they thought that the next generation could be the graduates who are there at the higher education level or institutions like the engineering graduates. And so AICT took that initiative and brought this as a curriculum and brought it at the right time, I believe, where until and unless we emphasize on this part of what to do, then it is better for the next generation so that they try to participate themselves. And then if they are not able to put those priority, as we all discussed in this discussion, that right understanding has to be on the priority, and then he should also understand the relationship, and he has also need to know what is the requirement of his physical facilities, and according to his need he should need to make his own program. So if this is coming into his living, then I believe that becomes a better part. So what I am able to see in all this is that if at all, if this is actually the journey for every individual, the journey to start with throughout the life. So if at all, if it is being brought up very late, and the next generation, if it is there as a parent or some workforce or in whoever is working for the society, will always have this content in his mind, and the offsprings are going to the institutions, and then they are being brought up with this content, and their living will be still better than what the parents or the students right now will be getting this content in their living part. So I believe that whatever is the efforts that are being put up at different levels are really appreciable, and I tell that these values can be also brought in the early education also, that is in the school levels and also at the higher level. That is what is my take. Thank you for the opportunity once again.
Yeah, so when you say that, you said that AICT, the apex body of education in the country, has done several experiments, and finally they started offering this in the higher education. Now, you also say that this can be offered in the primary level. So, is there a contrast in this? When we offer that in the higher education to start with, you said that is required in that level, but still you say that it is to be offered in the primary education. But those students who have not been learning these values in their primary education, when they go into the higher education, will there be a difficulty for them to learn this? What do you think? Very briefly, just 1 minute.
Yeah. Basically, what I was able to tell here is the environment of a child in the school and the environment at the home is going to match, and then the upbringing can be still better for the next generation. That is what is there. If at all, if there is an contradictory, he learns something at the institution and there is something in the living part at the home, then it will be for him to go in that opposition mindset. So that is not helping for his growth. So with this, I was trying to see to it that this has been brought up at the initial level, and then the parent also knows about those values, and then they together can explore and help each other in this journey.
Yeah, that's a nice point. So when the environment of relationship is there with the student in the house and then in the school and further in the higher education, if that match, then there is a possibility that everything will go in line. Okay, I will come back to you with further discussion. Now, I request the panelists to limit your presentation to 2 minutes, because now we have a time limitation.
Yeah.
I would like to come to all the panelists also. So I will continue the discussion to Dr. Prashant. Dr. Prashant?
Yeah.
I try to take your views upon this. Shall this value education be offered in the higher education, or shall we just focus upon the value education in the primary level and just focus completely upon the skill part in the higher education? What is your take upon this?
Yes, I agree with Amresh, what he has told, but not with you fully. It should be started at the primary level, at the home level also, right from the beginning, parents, initial teachers. And as far as the AICT or the Madhya Pradesh government is concerned, it has been started at the higher secondary also. But it is to be continued up to the higher education. It should not be left. Means only skill part should not be there. Why? Because if only at the graduation level skill part is there and value education is not there, they will only be running behind the wrong conception of the prosperity, that is earning more and more, switching over to the jobs and all. So if it is left, nowadays, if we start from the beginning, definitely, as told by the Amresh, it is there in the family. He will learn some values from the home itself, then it will be continued in his primary education, and slowly, as if we are having the different courses for the UHU 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9, so that the contents can be increased at the different levels, and he matures at the graduate level, so it should be improved. That is more than the UHU part 3 or other parts to be added along with the minor degree. Definitely there are open platforms also, NPTEL is there, IITs are helping, so he can achieve minor degrees with that platform also. But it should not be there, it should not be the case. It is to be there in the higher education as well as with the primary education. So in that way, our aim ultimately for this, whatever the conference is going on and in the keynote lecture, we have to develop the human beings with the right education, and only right education with right understanding. And right understanding starts then, and then only it is number of times repeated, and it is to be learned within, it is to be gone through. They have to verify it on their own right. So thank you very much for the nice discussion and nice question. Ji, Sunil ji. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So you also have the same opinion as Mr. Amarish, as we have to start the value education from the very beginning.
Ji.
That's nice. So we will listen from others also. Yeah, I will move on to Ms. Nidhi Sasde. What is your take on this question? Shall this value education to be started from the primary level? Can we leave this higher education fully to the technical part, only to the skill education? What do you think?
As rightly mentioned by Dr. Amresh and Dr. Prashant, I am clearly with them that right now, as we are beginning with higher education, we are working on the future parents and future policy makers and future professionals. Now, once they have gone through it, they are going to have their families, and the kids in their family, if they have this course on the value education at the primary level, the environment they are getting in the school and at the home is going to match. It is going to be conducive for their exploration. And further, when they go to higher education, with increasing courses and increasing level of work which they have to do on skills, I am very sure that the content of value education, if explored rightly at that time also, will be helpful for them to be efficient at the work which they are doing at that time. So this has to be a throughout process. So as for physical facility, for earning it, for getting my first job, I started from my KG and working till this post-graduation program. The same way, value education can start at the primary level and can be there to accompany me as I go for my higher education as an individual. That is my view. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you mean to say that in the higher education, if the value education is not started at the primary level, we offering this value education at the higher education level, is that not fruitful for the students? What do you think? Of course, it is taken that we have to offer this from the primary level, but now we are now offering this in the higher education level. What do you think? When we offer in the higher education, is it not well taken by the students? What do you think?
It is very well taken by my experience. And to give my own example, I started this course after my 30s. And I clearly see that wherever I am starting, it is becoming helpful at that very stage of life. So it is good to go ahead. But if it is there from the early time also, then it would give them sufficient time to explore. That was the.
That's nice. So even if it is offered in the higher education, in your experience, the students are taking it well. But if it is offered from the primary level, it is much easier for them to take it along. That's the point. Nice. Thank you. I move on to Dr. Jagadish Babu. Now, Dr. Jagadish Babu, looking at the time constraint, I have another question for you, which is now we have trying to offer this value education in the higher education, and also efforts are being in offering this in the primary education also. Not primary, but at least in the higher secondary and secondary part. Now, Dr. Jagadish, I would like to ask you, we are trying to offer this value education on the basis of certain guidelines, like universal, as Dr. Rakendra Dubey has mentioned. verifiable, this universal, verifiable, leading to harmony, etc. All these things he explained. What do you think? What measures can be taken to have a better impact of value education to students, according to you, fulfilling these guidelines? That's my
Yeah.
first.
So if I see this, I agree with the other panelists that it has to be bought as early as possible, but we need to prepare, and also it is helpful for all in all the stage of life. So coming to how effectively we can take this course, we have to follow these guidelines for sure. Because if we divert from these guidelines, then the purpose of this course may not be fulfilled. And this course has to be explorative as much as possible, and it has to be as a discussion. It's not like a lecture, it's not teaching the course, it is sharing the values. So the session should be shared with the students, not only teaching. So, and we can take up live examples, or the faculty who is taking this course has to set an example by going through this course and his own experiences with these proposals at the what level he is there. So this will make this course more effective and also more lively, and the students will also pay more attention to this, and the students will definitely observe the faculty who is taking this course, whether he is going with these guidelines or not. So it is very essential to go with these guidelines and set an example. So values, they say values should be caught, not thought. But values can also be thought, but only when you are setting the example yourself. So this is my point.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Jagadish. You said that values can be taught, but only when if you are facing the right examples, live examples for the students, so that they can explore, not just going by this prescription. Now, these guidelines are very essential, and if it is not offered through these guidelines, the purpose is not served. That's what you emphasized. That's very nice. So, looking at the time, I think we have to close this discussion over here. But in the meantime, there are a few delegates also who have joined. So I request if the delegates have any question, you can put forward that to the panelists. We may be able to take at least one question with a limited time, 1 or 2 questions maximum. Any delegate would like to ask any question to any panelists? I can see Mr. B.N. Pandey, Dr. Manisha Gupta, and a few others as delegates. Anybody would like to ask a question to the panelists regarding this discussion? The need of value education, precisely. Yeah, I think there are no questions from the delegates part. So I would like to ask this question open to all the panelists. Any panelist can respond to this question, because now we have finished the 3 rounds. Now I just thought I cannot come to all the panelists for sure. So I throw this question regarding the guidelines part. The guidelines we propose as universal, verifiable, natural, leading to harmony, etc. What do you think to offer this value education, or to be effective? Do we need to have these guidelines, or can we offer this value education without the guidelines? What do you think? Anybody can respond. It's open to you.
Yes, Dr. Sunil.
Okay, Dr. Prashant. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very nice question it is. It is just understanding the meaning of this. So definitely there must be guidelines, and that too based upon the proposals of the UHV. Because what we are studying, or what we have studied in the UHV, that whatever be the proposal we are putting forth in front of the students, it should be universal, rational, verifiable, and then leading to harmony. It means that the student who is entering maybe from the primary, maybe at the higher secondary, or at the top level, UGC level or university level, but it should be verifiable by him as far as his standard is concerned, and there should not be any do's or don'ts, and it is to be proved everywhere. So I think it should be for a teacher. Suppose he is a primary teacher, he can ask that students a simple question: do you love with your mummy or not? Or do you want me? Do you have opposition or with your relatives or like that? So these are the simple questions. At higher level, then what type of projects you want to do? So again, there should be usefulness of the environment education. And finally, at the degree level, they should take a minor projects related to the UHV. So I think that should be all four guidelines should be there based upon the UHV proposals. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Nice. Thank
hope-
you, Dr. Prashant.
Yeah.
Do you have any very quick reflection from anybody else before we close regarding this question? Guidelines or regarding the need of value education offered through guidelines so that we can have an impact. Anybody have a quick reflection?
I would like to just add here,
Yes, Nidhi.
these guidelines keep us on the correct path. So just for an example, if we take this universal, then I'm not restricted to any class or any institute or any set of people who are having a certain background. When I say universal, it is applicable to each and every human being. So when this guideline is followed, the content becomes applicable to each and every human being. So that makes the effectiveness of this whole course, whole value education purpose, very much applicable to human beings. That is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nidhi, for that exemplification. So looking at the time constraint, we have to close the panel discussion here. So I thank all the panelists for your very active participation in this panel discussion upon need of value education. So what was proposed by all the panelists, if I just sum up this discussion, we have started with the discussion on the priority of value education. So I can see that almost all the panelists are joining hands, or they're agreeing that the what to do part is to be given the priority than how to do part, but both are important. And this complementarity of this how to do part is being mentioned by Ms. Nidhi very precisely, that we have to have this skill part very essential, that is required for their living, but the guidance of value is very much essential over that. That is the first thing. Then we discussed upon what are the experiments which we did, like Dr. Prashant said. So we can have these projects. Through that, we can help the students to see what is their role, what is their value in higher education. So that is, and with that, we can help the students to see the importance of value education. So many of us are doing several other experiments. So this has been exemplified by many of us, other things also. Then the offering of this value education in this primary education, this also being emphasized by many, but it is also essential that the students who are in the higher education are also, if they are not exposed to value education, they have to come to this realm, because value guidance is essential. Very nice. And the guidelines, as we mentioned just now, it has been exemplified that the guidelines are required, otherwise the purpose may not be served. We can see that there is a question in the YouTube, so I will come to that. This question in the YouTube, I will just read that. Any panelist can respond to this question. Person is not in harmony, doesn't understand the importance of human values. How to help them? A person is not in harmony who doesn't understand the importance of human values. How to help that person? Open to any panelist before we close.
Ji, may I?
Dr. Prashant, please. Yeah.
So ultimately, this harmony depends upon the state of the self. And as we see that innateness, that is the happiness, is there in everybody's self. So if the person is not in harmony, so, and I find that I am having more understanding than him, so I will help him to bring to that level, to my level, I can say. So, for example, if he's not having the harmony, so whenever he wants to improve himself, I will try to help him by showing, but not just by preaching. By my behavior, I will. So, after seeing my behavior, he will see that yes, this is the harmony, and he can be in the harmony as far as myself is concerned. I think this is from my side. Through me only, he can be improved. G. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant. We can take one more reflection from any of the panelists regarding this question: how to help a person who cannot see the understanding part.
Yeah, sir, I can just add on what
Yeah.
Dr. Prashant sir was trying to emphasize.
Mm.
It is once again the priority. We can only give the proposal. Proposals are always there to help the other, but if at all, if he is not able to see that proposal in the right way, then he will still take more time. That's what it is. But efforts are always from our side. That's what is my take. Thank you.
Nice, thank you. I wanted to take more reflections, but the time is not permitting me to do that. So we will close the discussion here. So thank you all the panelists. Thank you, Dr. Amipara, for anchoring this session. Thank you, Dr. Raghvendra Dubey, for putting this UHV point of view very nicely in front of all the panelists and delegates. And thank you all the panelists, Mr. Amarashish Patil, Dr. Prashant Degavane, Ms. Nithi Sachde, and Dr. Jagdish Babu Villam, for your very valuable inputs. And this will be included in the final presentation of the conference for sure. And I thank all the delegates for your active participation. Though we couldn't get many questions, we could get only one question from the YouTube, but still that is very valuable for all of us. So this is a very lively and rich discussion, and we continue with the vision part and the implementation part in the subsequent days, coming days for sure.
Yeah.
And now we can take a break for 1 hour. There's a lunch break for 1 hour. After that, we can join any of the rooms in the institutional sharing as well as individual sharing. So thank you.
Thank you.